Very hot. Again, surface temperatures read by NASA, much, much, much hotter down in the basement where this molten metal was rolling down to. Now, office fires are only 12 to 1400 degrees. Those are really hot office fires that we saw in those other examples that didn't fall any other high-rise steel building. Now, molten steel doesn't begin to melt until 2700 degrees. We're missing 1000 degrees of temperature or energy. Where did it come from? What is a possible explanation? And what does the official story have to tell us about all of this molten metal? We're going to find out in a minute. We're going to be taking a look at thermite, whose byproduct is molten iron at 4,500 degrees. And here is the liquid metal falling off the substance being pulled by the tractor. Sarah Atlas says, fires burned and molten metal flowed in a pile of ruins still beneath my feet. And here is Bart Borsanger, an architect hired to produce artifacts. In fact, I'll tell you about these.
Unusual artifacts to emerge from the rubble is this rock-like object that comes to be known as the meteorite.
This fused element of steel, molten steel, and concrete, and all these things all fused by the heat into one single element. By what heat? We're going to find out. Now, aluminum airplanes, when they're melted, do not rust. So this molten stuff is not from an airplane.
Unusual artifact.
And we're told that the fire trucks had to spray a nearly constant jet of water over these fires. They continued for weeks and weeks and weeks. Let's listen to what these firemen said.
Down below, you see molten steel.
Are they credible witnesses?
Molten steel running down channels. Like you're in a foundry. Like lava. Okay.
From a volcano, lava. Oh gosh. Okay, so now we'll hear what the official story tells us about all of this molten metal.
Filmed right here at UT. Yeah.
Now, filmed right here at UT. That's right. John Gross came for this. Thanks to PNAC, Project for a New American Citizen. That's a play on words. PNAC was formerly known as Project for a New American Century. And I want Matt and John to tell you about the Project for a New American Century, a neocon think tank that had as its goal the doubling of the budget for the defense, geopolitical hegemony in the Middle East. And they said, absent a catalyzing and catastrophic event like a new Pearl Harbor, these goals will never be met. And George Bush writes in his diary on 9/11, we had a new Pearl Harbor today. Or we had our Pearl Harbor today. Let's listen to John Gross.
I'm curious about the pool of molten steel that was found in the bottom of the tower.
Tell me about it. Have you seen it?
Well, not personally, but my witnesses there found huge bowls of molten steel beneath the towers. And some scientists don't think that the collapse of the building could have melted all that steel. And his professor analyzed some of the steel. And Stephen Jones, he found evidence of a thermate residue, which would explain how buildings collapse by means of pre-plastic explosions. So, have you analyzed the steel for a
First of all, let's go back to your basic premise that there was a pool of molten steel. I know absolutely nobody, no eyewitness who said so, who produced it.
You get down below, you see molten steel. Molten steel running down the channels. Like you're in a foundry. Like lava.
Steel-toed boots is one of the biggest things. Out still on the rubble, it's still, I believe, 1100 degrees. The guy's boots just melt within a few hours.
This is how it's business. They want, oh, it's illegal. This is 6 weeks later, or 1 6 weeks later. And as we get closer to the center, this gets hotter and hotter. It's probably 1,500 degrees. We got some small windows into what we thought was a door at some point, and it looked like an oven, which is warm inside. This is a bright, ready orange color.
I know of absolutely nobody, no eyewitness who said something would produce it. I was on the site, I was on the steel yard, so I don't know that that's so.
There's video of it.
All right. So why is John Gross from NIST lying through his teeth and discrediting these very credible witnesses? Because they cannot explain it. The official story has absolutely no explanation for this 1,000 degrees of heat. And it is extremely important that you understand this so that you can get through your own disbelief about these sets of events and also explain it to everybody you know and find every architect and engineer that you can find and give them the link to 18911truth.org so that we can get to 1,000 architects and engineers by September 11th, 2008. We need your help. Will you help us? Thank you, because when we get there, we will turn this country around. You will see. Where did this molten metal come from? Let's take a look.
An incendiary used by the military, thermite is a compound of iron oxide and aluminum, which when ignited sustains an extreme heat reaction, creating molten iron. In just 2 seconds, thermite can reach temperatures over 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit, quite enough to liquefy steel. This is thermite melting the engine of a car.
Beautiful.
We know that open air fires cannot burn hot enough to melt steel, but metal had melted at the base of the towers. The second product of the thermite reaction is aluminum oxide, visible as white smoke. Was thermite?
She just got punched in the face.
Hang with me. This is going to be painful.
Dude, like the diesel engine compressing there hooks up. You had something compressed it down on it and heat up. Garrett.
I'm tripping.
You tripping?
I nearly killed myself going down those steps. The way they're marked, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway. Hey, Matt, I'm Garrett. Hi, Chris. Did I tell you? Hey, oh, you're free. I mean,
An incendiary used by the military, thermite is a compound of iron oxide and aluminum, which when ignited sustains an extreme heat reaction, creating molten iron. In just 2 seconds, thermite can reach temperatures over 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit, quite enough to liquefy steel. This is thermite melting the engine of a car. We know that open-air fires cannot burn hot enough to melt steel, but metal had melted at the base of the towers. The second product of the thermite reaction is aluminum oxide, visible as white smoke. Was thermite used in conjunction with explosives on September 11th? Watch this very bright substance pouring from the 81st floor of the South Tower. And white smoke appeared at the base of the building. Would this be aluminum oxide, the byproduct of a thermite reaction? Appendix C of the FEMA report